All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. In tonight's video, we're diving into the Minnesota Vikings' big win, a 21-3 victory over the Indianapolis Colts this past Sunday night. The Vikings are in a unique position this season. After starting 5-0, they took a hit with two tough losses, one to the Detroit Lions, one of the NFL's top teams, and then a short week later on the road against the Los Angeles Rams. With such a tight turnaround from Sunday to Thursday, that second loss was almost expected. So here they are now at 6-2, yet it feels like people have stopped talking about them. Even after an impressive defensive showing and a strong second half from Sam Darnold, the Vikings seem to have lost some of their buzz. It's like people thought they'd go undefeated, and once that dream faded, so did the hype. As of today, it's Thursday, and I still haven't seen many power rankings giving these 6-2 Vikings the credit they deserve. Considering the preseason predictions had them only winning around 6 games total, they've already matched that halfway through the season. Looking ahead, the Vikings have a pretty favorable schedule. They could easily end up with 11 or even 12 wins this season. For example, the Jacksonville Jaguars are up next, and Trevor Lawrence isn't expected to play. A win there could push the Vikings to 7-2, and maybe then people will start to notice. If you're a Vikings fan, do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe. Let's see if we can get this video to 250 likes. It would mean a lot as we try to grow this channel. I'll also pin a link to my Vikings YouTube channel in the comments, so go check it out and subscribe for more updates. Now let's talk about Sam Darnold's performance against the Colts. Darnold went 28 for 34 with 290 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Sure, he had a couple of fumbles, but overall, he put on a solid second-half performance. If you look at his season stats, Darnold ranks in the top 15 in multiple categories like completion percentage, passing yards, touchdowns, and quarterback rating. In fact, many of his stats are in or near the top 10, showing he's having a surprisingly good season with 17 touchdowns and only 7 interceptions. Darnold's big play potential is a standout, with an explosive pass rate of 22.3%, just behind Lamar Jackson and ahead of Jared Goff. He's averaging 8.6 intended air yards per throw, compared to Kirk Cousins' 7.5 from last year, which shows his willingness to push the ball downfield. And with targets like Jordan Addison, Aaron Jones, TJ Hawkinson, and of course, Justin Jefferson, this offense has some real firepower. The thing with Darnold has always been about finding a balance, letting him play freely while keeping him from making costly mistakes. Coach Kevin O'Connell seems to be letting Darnold play to his strengths, even if it means taking some risks. The question now is, can Darnold and the Vikings keep this momentum going? Stay tuned and let's find out together. The Vikings have a promising schedule ahead, with only the Titans' defense ranking in the top 10. Meanwhile, 2 of their upcoming opponents, the Green Bay Packers and the Arizona Cardinals, have some of the weakest defenses against the passing game. This is perfect timing for players like Jordan Addison, who had a solid breakout game with 5 catches, 42 yards, and one of the most impressive touchdowns you'll see from the Vikings this season. And of course, Justin Jefferson is leading the league with 783 receiving yards and an impressive 16.3 yards per catch, the highest for any player with over 35 receptions this season. Offensively and defensively, the Vikings look playoff ready. On defense, Jonathan Greenard has been a standout, leading the NFL in pressures and sitting 6th in sacks with 7. The Vikings rank 16th in total defensive yards per game, boast the second-best rushing defense in the league, and, despite some stats, are tough to throw against. Take Joe Flacco, for example. He only managed 179 yards with no touchdowns and 1 interception. The Vikings' strong early-game performances often put opponents in a position where they're forced to throw, and that's kept Minnesota's secondary constantly tested. Even against talented players like Jonathan Taylor, who had just 48 yards on 13 carries, this defense shows up. Statistically, the Vikings defense ranks in the top 10 in most key metrics, especially on early downs. In Sunday's game, they held the Colts to an average EPA, expected points added, of -0.35 per play, with passing plays reaching an impressive -0.21 EPA per snap, one of the lowest rates from any team this season, according to PFF. So here's the takeaway. The Vikings have a top 10 offense, a top 10 defense, a Coach of the Year candidate in Kevin O'Connell, and a Defensive Coach of the Year contender in Brian Flores. Their second half schedule includes games against Jacksonville, Tennessee, Chicago, Arizona, Atlanta, and another game with the Bears, plus a few tougher matchups with Seattle, the Packers, and the Lions. That final game against Detroit could be a showdown for the NFC North title if both teams stay strong. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button to help us reach our goal of 500 subscribers on the Vikings channel, where we're getting ready to launch daily content. Thanks for the support and have a great night. We'll catch you before Sunday. Peace.